All right, ready to dive deep. Today, we're looking at palmistry.
Ooh.
Specifically, that M marking you sometimes find on people's palms.
Right.
We're using a video from the Wisdom Path for this. And let me tell you, they've got some pretty interesting ideas about what this little line could mean.
Oh, I know. It's fascinating stuff.
Now, I'm not saying we're all going to run out and get our palms read, but come on, isn't there a little part of you that's a little bit curious? What if your hand really could tell you something about yourself?
Definitely intriguing. Palmistry. You know, the art of reading hands, it's been around for ages across so many different cultures.
Yeah, I was reading about that.
It really speaks to that human need to figure ourselves out, you know?
Right, like, who am I? What's my purpose?
Exactly. And maybe get a little glimpse of what's coming next.
Ooh, the future. Okay, so the M marking the Wisdom Path says it's got a bunch of different meanings attached to it.
Yeah, they outline 7 core meanings.
7. Wow. Okay, so where do we even begin?
No, they start with the concept of past lives.
Okay, past lives. So like reincarnation.
Exactly. The video says if you've got a prominent M, you're probably an old soul.
An old soul.
Meaning you've lived many lives before this one.
Oh.
And all that experience, all that wisdom, it carries over.
So like, I've got all this knowledge from my past lives tucked away somewhere in my subconscious.
It's an interesting thought, isn't it?
It is. I mean, have you ever met someone and just felt like...
Like you've known them forever.
Yeah, or gone to a new place and felt strangely familiar, like you've been there before.
Right. Some people call this coincidences.
But what if they're like echoes of past lives?
Exactly. It's a fascinating concept, even if, we can't exactly prove it scientifically.
It really makes you think.
It does.
What if we're not just starting fresh in this life, but carrying all this baggage or, I guess, wisdom from lives we don't even remember?
Mm-hmm. And that could explain why some people seem so wise beyond their years.
Yeah, like they've just got this depth to them.
Right. And that actually connects really well to the second meaning associated with the M, intuition.
Intuition. Okay, that's a big one.
The Wisdom Path describes it as your inner compass.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Guiding you towards the right choices.
Even when, like, logic says to do something else.
Exactly. It's that gut feeling.
We've all had those.
But maybe for people with the M, that connection's even stronger.
Like they've had more lifetimes to practice listening to it.
Possibly. And here's the thing. The Wisdom Path says intuition isn't some, magical gift.
Oh, good, because I'm not very magical.
Haha. It's a skill you can develop. They suggest practicing mindfulness.
To mindfulness.
Really being present in your day-to-day life.
So you can actually pick up on those subtle internal cues.
Exactly. It's about paying attention.
And meditation, right?
Yes, calming your mind so you can actually hear your intuition.
Because there's so much noise in our heads most of the time.
Exactly. It's about creating space for those insights to come through. Now, get this. The third meaning they talk about is leadership.
Leadership. Really? That's interesting.
It might seem surprising, but their definition is a little different. They're not talking about, bossing people around.
Okay, good, because I'm not sure I'm boss material.
No, they're talking about inspiring others through your actions, your wisdom, just how you show up in the world.
So less about holding a title and more about having a positive influence.
Exactly. Think about the people you know who naturally draw others to them.
Like the friend everyone goes to for advice.
Yes. Or the coworker who stays calm in a crisis.
They might not have fancy titles, but they lead by example.
Right. It's less about power and more about inspiring trust. And, even small actions can be acts of leadership.
Oh, absolutely. Like holding the door for someone.
Sure.
Or speaking up when you see something unfair.
Exactly. It's about doing the right thing, even when no one's watching.
Which, honestly, can be the hardest kind of leadership.
It can.
And that actually makes me think of the next meaning on the list.
Yeah.
The healer's mark.
Ah, yes. And I think it's important to clarify here, this isn't about being a doctor or a nurse.
Right, not necessarily a medical professional.
It's more about that innate ability to offer comfort, support, guidance, that kind of thing.
Like being the person people just naturally confide in.
Exactly. Or the one who always seems to know what to say to make someone feel better.
They just have this calming presence,
Yes. A natural empathy that allows them to sense when someone's hurting.
And sometimes just being there for someone is the greatest healing you can offer.
It really is. The source even suggests that people with the M might be more sensitive to energy and emotions in general.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe that's why they're often drawn to helping professions.
Like they naturally gravitate towards roles where they're caring for others.
It's like they have this sixth sense for knowing what people need.
Not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, too.
Exactly. And even if someone isn't, a therapist or a social worker.
That sensitivity can still make them an amazing friend or partner or parent.
Absolutely. Small acts of kindness can go a long way.
It all ties back to that idea that everyone has their own unique gifts to share.
It does.
Maybe for some people, that gift is the ability to heal and uplift those around them.
Absolutely. Now, the fifth meaning associated with the M might be a little more familiar: karma.
Karma. What goes around comes around.
Right. The source suggests that people with this M are especially in tune with this principle.
So, their actions have a bigger impact on their lives.
It's not necessarily that they experience more challenges or rewards,
but they experience the consequences more directly.
That's how the source puts it. Think of it like being on a fast track for life's lessons.
So every action has a more immediate reaction.
You could say that. They emphasize that those challenges, though, they're not punishments.
Okay,
They're opportunities for growth. Like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but maybe amplified.
So it's about recognizing that every experience, even the tough ones, has a lesson.
And that we have the power to shape our own destiny through our choices.
That's powerful stuff.
It is. And even if we don't have the M, it's a good reminder for all of us, right?
Right. Our actions do have consequences.
They do.
It's about being mindful of the energy we're putting out into the world.
Absolutely. Okay, ready for number 6? This one's a fun one.
Hit me with it.
Creativity.
Ooh, I like that one. So artistic talent.
That's part of it, but it's bigger than that. The source says those with the M just see the world a little differently.
Different how?
Well, it leads to innovative thinking, unique problem-solving skills.
Like they can think outside the box.
Exactly. They see possibilities that others miss, and they're not afraid to challenge the status quo.
That's so important.
It is. They bring fresh perspectives, which is valuable in any field, really.
Not just art, but science, business, even just everyday life.
Exactly. They're the ones who come up with the solutions no one else thought of.
I wonder if there's a connection between the M and certain personality types.
Like what?
People who are naturally curious, open to new experiences, not afraid to take risks.
That's a fascinating thought. Maybe those personality traits plus the M make for some serious creative energy.
Right, it amplifies things.
It's a cool idea. Makes you wonder if we could all tap into that a little more,
Regardless of our palms.
Exactly. Creativity is a muscle. You can strengthen it with practice.
I love that. Okay, we've reached the final meaning for the M.
The grand finale.
And it's a big one. Spirituality.
Here we go.
Now, before anyone gets the wrong idea, the source makes it clear this isn't necessarily about organized religion.
Right. It's broader than that.
It's about that desire to understand our place in the universe, to search for meaning and purpose.
Exactly. That yearning for something bigger than ourselves.
It's like searching for answers to the big questions.
Yes. Why are we here? What's it all about? That kind of thing.
And the source says people with the M are often drawn to things like meditation, self-reflection.
Anything that helps them connect with that deeper sense of self.
It's like they have this internal compass pointing them towards spiritual exploration.
Whether that's through traditional religion, different philosophies, or just spending time in nature and reflecting.
It's about finding what resonates with you.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is.
That desire to connect with something greater, to find meaning in the vastness of existence.
It really is. Makes you wonder, is that yearning for meaning something we're all born with?
That's a question for the ages.
It is. But maybe the M marking is just a physical sign of that universal longing.
Maybe. Either way, it sounds like we could all benefit from cultivating that spiritual curiosity, right?
Oh, absolutely. Seeking out practices that nourish our souls.
And exploring what gives our lives meaning.
Couldn't agree more.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, huh? 7 meanings associated with the M marking.
From past lives to spirituality, it's quite a range.
And it's important to remember, these interpretations, they're based on ancient beliefs.
Right. We shouldn't take them as scientific facts.
Exactly. It's more about using them as a starting point for self-reflection.
What resonates with you? What do you see reflected in your own life?
It's about sparking curiosity and encouraging you to explore your own unique journey.
I love that.
So whether you've got the M or not, take a look at your hands.
You might notice something new.
And even if you don't, think about these meanings as invitations.
Invitations to what?
To explore different aspects of yourself.
Oh, I like that. To dig deeper, to discover something new.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe you'll uncover some hidden strengths and talents along the way.
This is getting me excited to learn more about palmistry.
Me too. It's such a rich and fascinating subject.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about for now.
I hope so.
We'll be back soon to dive even deeper into the world of palmistry.
And explore even more of its mysteries.
Until then, keep those hands open to possibility.
And stay curious. Welcome back to the Deep Dives.
Ooh, I'm ready for more palmistry.
You know, before we get too carried away with all these mystical M meanings,
Right.
it's important to acknowledge not everyone's on board with this stuff.
You mean not everyone believes in palmistry?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's not exactly mainstream science.
Right. And to be fair, from a purely scientific perspective, there's no hard evidence to back up a lot of these claims.
Yeah, like, show me the double-blind study on the M marking in past lives.
Haha, right. Some critics say it's more about observation and making general statements.
General statements that could apply to almost anyone.
Exactly. It's like you're a kind person, but you also have a strong will.
Ooh, that's me for sure.
See? It's easy to fall for.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But is there, like, a name for that? That kind of technique?
Well, there's cold reading,
Cold reading.
where the palm reader or, psychic or whoever picks up on subtle cues.
From the person they're reading.
Yeah. And they tailor their interpretation based on how you react.
So, like, if I get excited when they say I'm intuitive,
They'll keep going down that path.
that's cat sneaky.
It can be, but honestly, we all want to believe things that make us feel good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like those personality quizzes online.
Yes, the ones that tell you you're a genius or a leader.
Who doesn't want to hear that?
Exactly. But we have to remember, those things are for fun.
Right, not necessarily the absolute truth about who we are.
Exactly. So skepticism is healthy.
Totally. But even if we don't take palmistry as, like, gospel, I still think it's super interesting to look at where it came from. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The history and cultural context are fascinating.
So where did it all begin?
Well, the exact origins are a bit murky,
Murky.
but some trace it back thousands of years to ancient India.
Wow, really? India?
Yep. It was known as Samudrika Shastra.
Try saying that 3 times fast.
I know, right? It basically means knowledge of ocean-like hands.
Ocean-like hands. That's beautiful.
Isn't it? It suggests that our hands hold this deep hidden wisdom.
Like secrets waiting to be revealed.
Exactly. And from India, the practice spread.
Where to go?
To China, Tibet, Egypt. Wow.
Eventually even to ancient Greece and Rome.
So it was like this ancient viral trend.
Haha, kind of. It's really a global phenomenon.
It is. Why do you think palmistry has resonated with people for so long?
Well, think about it. Humans, we crave understanding.
Understanding.
Ourselves, our lives, our place in the world, all of it.
We want to know why we're here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And palmistry, maybe it offers a sense of comfort, a way to seek guidance.
Especially in a world that can feel so chaotic.
Right. Things change so fast, information overload.
It's overwhelming sometimes.
It can be. So maybe turning to something ancient, something that stood the test of time.
It's reassuring.
It can be. It's like, hey, maybe there's some wisdom here that can help me navigate all this.
I get that. Even if you don't believe in the literal predictions, there's something calming about that ritual, slowing down and reflecting.
Exactly. Taking a pause from the hustle and bustle.
Yeah. Like, okay, universe, let's see what my hands have to say. Exactly. And a lot of modern palm readers don't focus solely on predicting the future.
Oh, really? What do they focus on?
They emphasize self-discovery.
Self-discovery.
Using the lines as a roadmap to understand your strengths, your weaknesses.
Oh, interesting.
Less about fortune-telling, more about self-awareness.
I like that. Empowering people to take control of their own lives.
Exactly. Making choices that align with their true nature.
It's a cool way to look at it. So, even if we're skeptical about some of the specifics, we can still appreciate the broader context, the history, the cultural impact.
Absolutely. Palmistry has been woven into human civilization for centuries.
It has.
It's captured our imaginations, inspired stories, myths.
Yeah, there's a whole mythology around it.
There is, and it shows our shared desire for meaning, for understanding.
It's a reminder that even in our modern world, there's still room for wonder.
There is.
For exploring these ancient traditions.
And for seeking those deeper connections.
With ourselves, with the universe, with everything.
Exactly. Who knows, maybe future scientific discoveries will shed new light on these things.
Ooh, like what?
Maybe we'll find out there's a real connection between our physical bodies and our inner selves.
And that some of these ancient practices were right all along.
It's a fascinating thought. maybe there's more to us than meets the eye.
More than we currently understand.
Exactly. It's a reminder that we're still exploring, still learning.
About ourselves, about the world, about everything.
Exactly. We're all on this journey of discovery together.
Well said.
Now, in the final part of our deep dive, we're going to bring the focus back to you, the listener.
Ooh, I like that. Make it personal.
We're going to explore some practical tips for cultivating those M qualities.
Even if we don't have the M marking.
Especially if you don't.
Okay, cool. What kind of tips are we talking about?
We'll talk about how to strengthen your intuition, how to develop your leadership skills, how to embrace your creativity.
I'm in. What else?
We'll look at how to approach challenges with a karmic perspective.
Turning obstacles into opportunities?
Exactly. So if you're ready to unlock your potential,
Yes.
tap into your inner wisdom and embark on a journey of self-discovery,
Sign me up.
then join us for the final part of our deep dive.
Can't wait. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We've talked about the mystery, the history, all that good stuff. But now I'm ready to get practical.
Me too. Let's turn these ancient beliefs into like a toolkit for self-discovery.
Oh, I like that. Toolkit. So where do we start?
Well, let's start with intuition, that inner compass we were talking about.
Right. But how do you actually learn to listen to that thing?
It's not always easy, that's for sure. One of the best ways is through mindfulness, just, being present in the moment.
Okay, so less thinking about the past or worrying about the future, more just being here now.
Exactly. And when you get better at that, when you're more aware of your thoughts, your feelings, all of it.
You start to notice those little intuitive nudges.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
tuning your internal radio, finding the right frequency.
Oh, I like that analogy. So mindfulness is one tool. What else?
Meditation. The source talked about that too. Even just a few minutes a day of quieting your mind can make a huge difference.
It's like creating space for those insights to bubble up.
Exactly. And, it doesn't have to be some big formal thing.
Right, you don't have to sit in lotus pose for hours on end.
Exactly. There's so many different ways to meditate. Guided meditations, walking meditations, even just focusing on your breath.
Find what works for you. Okay, so intuition, we've got some tools for that. What about leadership?
Leadership. Remember how the source defined it. Not about bossing people around, but about inspiring them.
Yeah, inspiring them through your actions, your wisdom, all that.
Exactly. So what makes someone a truly inspiring leader?
Well, I think integrity is a big one.
Walking the talk. Right.
Exactly. Like doing what you say you're going to do, being honest, being transparent.
People can spot a fake a mile away.
Yeah.
But when you're genuine, when you lead by example, that's what builds trust.
And respect, too. People want to follow someone they believe in.
Absolutely. And it's not just about what you say, it's about how you show up consistently, even when things get tough.
Right. Speaking of tough, I think empathy's crucial for good leadership.
Empathy, yeah. Being able to understand and relate to other people's feelings.
It's not just about feeling sorry for them, it's about actively listening, trying to see things from their point of view.
And responding with compassion. When you can do that, you build stronger connections, you create a more supportive environment.
Absolutely. And it takes courage to be an empathetic leader.
Oh, for sure. Because sometimes you have to make tough decisions.
Decisions that might not make everyone happy.
Exactly. But when you approach it with empathy, people are more likely to respect your decisions, even if they don't love them.
Yeah, they know you're coming from a good place.
Okay.
So integrity, empathy, courage, those are all great qualities for leaders. What about that healer's mark? I'm curious about that one.
Yeah, and remember, we're not talking about being a doctor or anything.
Right. It's more about that natural ability to offer comfort, support.
And sometimes the smallest gestures can have the biggest impact.
Like just being there for someone who's struggling.
Exactly. Listening to them, letting them know they're not alone.
You don't need a medical degree for that.
Nope. And the source suggests that people with the M might just be more tuned in to those subtle energies and emotions.
So they naturally gravitate toward caring roles.
It could be. But even if you're not, a therapist or a nurse, that sensitivity can still make you a great friend, partner, parent.
Right. It shows up in all kinds of ways.
It does. Okay. Ready to tackle karma.
Hit me. I feel like karma is one of those things that gets thrown around a lot, but no one really understands it.
It can be confusing. Remember how the source linked it to the M marking?
Yeah, saying those folks experience the consequences of their actions more directly.
Like if you do something good, good things happen to you faster, and vice versa.
Right, but the source also said it wasn't about punishment or reward, it was about learning and growth.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our actions have consequences, and those consequences can help us evolve.
So even the tough stuff, the challenges, they're actually opportunities.
Opportunities to learn, to grow, to become a better version of ourselves.
I like that way of looking at it. It's empowering.
Yeah.
Like we have the power to shape our own destiny.
We do, and even if we don't have the M marking, that's still a powerful reminder for all of us.
Right. Be mindful of your choices because they do create ripples.
They absolutely do. Okay, ready for something a little more fun?
Bring it on. What do we got?
Creativity.
Oh, yes.
That's one of my favorites.
The source connected it to the M, saying these folks just see the world differently.
It's like they've got those creative lenses on.
They do. And it leads to innovative thinking, unique problem-solving skills.
They're the idea people.
They are. The ones who can connect the dots that no one else sees.
And come up with solutions that are totally out of the box.
Exactly. And that's valuable no matter what you do. It is. So how can we, regular folks tap into that creative energy?
Well, curiosity is a big one. Be open to new experiences, ask questions.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Exactly. And don't forget to play.
Oh, play? Like, give yourself permission to have fun, to make mistakes.
Exactly. Let go of that need for perfection and just enjoy the process.
I love that. Okay, we've covered intuition, leadership, healing, karma, creativity. I think there's just one left.
The big one, spirituality.
Right. That search for meaning and purpose.
And remember, it's not about religion necessarily.
It's about that yearning to connect with something bigger, something beyond ourselves.
Exactly. And the source said those with the M are often drawn to practices that help with that.
Like meditation, mindfulness, all the things we talked about earlier.
Yes. But even if you don't have the M, those practices can still benefit you.
They're good for everyone, really.
They are. It's about finding what works for you, what helps you tap into that deeper sense of self.
Spending time in nature, connecting with a spiritual community, whatever resonates.
Exactly. The important thing is to stay curious, to keep exploring those big questions.
Right. What's my purpose? Why am I here?
Those are the questions that keep us searching, keep us growing.
And remind us that there's more to life than just the day-to-day grind.
There is. Well, I think that about covers it. We've explored the meaning of the M, from its ancient roots to its modern interpretations.
We've looked at its connection to past lives, intuition, leadership, healing, karma, creativity, spirituality. That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
And while it's all fascinating, it's important to remember these are just interpretations.
Right, based on ancient beliefs.
Exactly. Take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't.
Use it as a starting point for your own self-discovery.
That's what it's all about, really. Exploring who you are, what you're capable of.
And realizing that you have the power to create the life you want.
Absolutely. Whether you have the M marking or not, you have everything you need within you.
That's a great message to end on. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive, everyone.
Thanks for listening. And remember, stay curious, keep exploring, and keep those hands open to possibility.